If you're loving this podcast, be sure to check out the full lineup. From news and local politics to sports and true crime. Find your next great listen right now at duluthnewstribune.com/podcasts. That's duluthnewstribune.com/podcasts.
Hello, Northlanders. It's Friday, September 29th. I'm Wyatt Buckner through Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union's services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
It's Friday, and if you're looking for ideas for some fun things to do this weekend, Duluth News Tribune arts and entertainment reporter Jay Gabler has some options in this week's Best Bets.
As always, there are things going on every day in the Northland this week, but for today, for this podcast, for Best Bets, let's just talk about Saturday because there's a lot happening on Saturday this week. At the Depot in downtown Duluth, there is the now annual Bienvenue Coffee Fest showcasing what an amazing coffee community we have. So you can go and get very well caffeinated and learn a lot more about the rich history and culture of coffee, which of course is known, loved, and enjoyed globally, but has a wonderful heritage right here in the Twin Ports as well. The event will fill the Great Hall with seminars, music, a latte art competition moving to the Depot Theater this year because of such demand for people to see the Twin Ports' best baristas work their latte magic, and a general sense of caffeinated camaraderie suffusing the event that is tomorrow, Saturday at the Depot. And down the street in Lincoln Park, Duluth Cider is celebrating its 5-year anniversary with the annual Big Bad Apple Bash. That is the event where they tap last year's community foraged cider that was pressed at the Big Bad Apple Bash last fall and starting again for next year. So if you have apples, bring them in, especially if you've picked them right here in the Northland. They take whatever apples they can get and they press them and turn them into a special cider for next year. Of course, there's lots more fun for all ages happening at Duluth Cider tomorrow, Saturday. And last but certainly not least, the Lester River Rendezvous is already happening, but the first couple of days, that's yesterday, Thursday, and today, Friday, are for kids, for school groups who are here to learn about the voyageurs who once plied our local waterways and struck fear in the hearts of beavers. If you are curious about learning how Voyager life went, well, you can make your way to Lester Park tomorrow, Saturday, for the third day open to the public. It's the Lester River Rendezvous. That's tomorrow, Saturday. All those events are going on. You can read more about these and other best bets at duluthnewstribune.com. I'm Jay Gabler.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. Duluth City Councilors have no shortage of plans for how to redeploy the $3.45 million in proceeds Duluth received following the sale of a business incubator building to Cirrus Aircraft in July. Councilors passed a resolution Monday recommending a laundry list of initiatives they want to support with the proceeds from the recent sale of a building to Cirrus. That list includes $834,316 for additional funding of the Duluth Economic Development Authority, $750,000 for capital improvements to city parks, $659,164 for increased firefighter pay, $500,000 for Stepping On Up, an initiative to end homelessness, $200,000 for more library materials, $200,000 for a pilot project to reduce the city's use of road salt, $150,000 to enhance encampment and needle cleanup efforts, $146,520 to examine how to improve sidewalk snow removal, and $10,000 for children victim services. Most of the allocations would be of a one-time nature. With a couple exceptions, the city would need to find another way to support increased firefighter pay on an ongoing basis, either through an additional levy increase in 2025 or by cutting spending elsewhere. And if the city wishes to continue its encampment management and needle pickup efforts, it would need to find a future funding source for that as well. The top line item in the proposed funding list goes to support Duluth's economic development efforts. When it comes to addressing the needs of people experiencing homelessness, 3rd District Councilor Roz Randorf said she hopes the city's $500,000 investment in Stepping On Up will be matched dollar for dollar by St. Louis County, so the city can provide better resources, better management, and there can be safe places for individuals to go. Councilor Hannah Alstead said she advocated for enhanced needle pickup efforts after learning of problems with dirty hypodermics that have littered Chester Park and other public places, interfering with youth programming. She also went to bat for additional children victim support funding. At-large Councilor Teresa Tomanek praised the city's efforts to improve sidewalk snow removal after a recent report from the Duluth Disabilities Commission highlighted the difficulties uncleared sidewalks pose to many residents in winter. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison last week sought to resolve legal concerns over police in schools, clarifying that officers can use reasonable force to restrain students when necessary. But at least some northeastern Minnesota schools aren't yet getting back to business as usual. Several area police and school officials told State Representative Natalie Zelensnikar, a Republican from Friedenberg Township, that they need a legislative fix before they will feel confident enough to fully operate their school resource officer programs. While Hermantown is operating its program with limitations, the St. Louis County Sheriff's Office has yet to return deputies to schools at all. Under Sheriff Jason Ackerson said the county attorney's office continues to have liability concerns, despite Ellison's recent opinion that was described by the state's largest police union as a temporary solution. In the event of an incident, an out-of-control student ripping up a classroom, for example, Ackerson said it could be 30 or 45 minutes before patrol deputies are able to arrive at a rural school. The controversy stems from a seemingly small tweak to a state statute, revised in the spring's legislative session, that law enforcement officials, attorneys, and unions have warned could result in major consequences for officers contracted to serve school facilities. Minnesota law previously stated that agents of a school, including resource officers and bus drivers, may use reasonable force when it is necessary under the circumstances to restrain a student or prevent bodily harm or death to another. But the sentence underwent a one-word change, now reading, to prevent bodily harm or death to another. That change, agencies worry, forbids officers from basic functions like escorting a disruptive student out of a classroom or even stopping a child from breaking school windows unless there's a clear threat of physical harm. Ellison, after meeting with a number of police and political leaders, clarified in a September 20th letter that all peace officers, including those who are school resource officers or otherwise agents of a school district, may use force as reasonably necessary to carry out official duties, including, but not limited to, making arrests and enforcing orders of the court. Local leaders said continued uncertainty has promoted changes that are depleting agency resources and costing taxpayers more money. Patrol officers are now being called in to handle calls that could otherwise be resolved by SROs. Because those officers are not under contract with the school, they would not be exposed to potential liability under the law. Now here's a look at your forecast, brought to you by the News Tribune's UMD hockey podcast, Bulldog Insider.
Duluth area weather for today, scattered showers and maybe a thunder shower under a mostly cloudy sky, a breezy south wind around 10 to 20 and a high temperature in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. Showers and thunder showers again pretty likely tonight and again on Saturday. Saturday's high again somewhere around 70. Drying out a bit on Sunday with just a slight chance of rain, partly sunny skies and a high in the low 70s. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to Bulldog Insider for their support. The weekly podcast, hosted by News Tribune reporter Matt Wellens and My 9 commentator Zach Schneider, features UMD hockey players, coaches, and alumni. Season 6 of the podcast has now begun, with KDAL's Bruce Siski joining the first episode previewing the 2023-2024 hockey season. You can find new episodes every Thursday on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Peter Passy, Tom Olson, and Jay Gabler. Thank you for listening to the Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here Monday.